Today I wanted to discuss a bit about the EB5 investor program. First of all, this discussion is going to be very basic. EB5s are very complex immigration benefits, and so I recommend you work with an attorney if you decide to do this. But one of the greatest advantages of an EB5 is that it gets a person a legal permanent residency, in other words, a green card. And it's especially beneficial because the person requesting the green card can do it through a self-petitioning process. In general, most green cards, you require either a family member or an employer petition for you. Now, there are some other options, but those are the most common. And so, like I said, a great benefit of EB5 is that you can request it on your own. So EB5s are investor visas, and there are three main requirements. First is that the applicant invest capital. The second is that it's invested in a new commercial enterprise. And the third is that that investment creates jobs in the United States. The government created this visa with a policy of bringing immigrants to the United States who will create jobs in the United States. So that's the key to this EB5 green card, is that you are creating jobs. So let's talk a little bit about those three requirements. First, you must invest capital. Now, capital does not have to be just cash. It can be other assets. It can be equipment. It can be inventory. But you need to invest that capital to qualify for this EB5. You also have to put that investment at risk. That means it can't be just a passive investment that you can withdraw your money at some point. You've got to actually put your money to work. And another requirement is the amount. How much do you have to invest? So the standard investment is $1 million at least. However, in some cases you can invest lower, at $500,000 amount. But in that case, you have to invest in an area called a targeted employment area. And that's an area that is either a rural area, so a smaller population, or an area with high unemployment. So that's what it means to invest capital. The second requirement, a new commercial enterprise. So new means an enterprise that was created November 29th, 1990 or later. There are cases where you can invest in older companies if you are restructuring or expanding that company. Furthermore, when you invest in this new commercial enterprise, you must have a management role. It can't be a passive investment. There are also what are called regional centers, which is another option for investments. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. The third requirement is job creation. So each investor must create at least 10 full-time jobs in the United States. And investors can come together and pool their funds. So as an example, let's say 10 investors want to invest in the United States and develop a hotel property. They can do that. However, each investor must create 10 jobs. So if you have 10 investors pooling resources to create a hotel, you must have 100 jobs. Not just 10, but 10 for each investor. So that's how job creation works in general. There are also cases where you don't necessarily have to create new jobs. So if you're investing in a troubled business, a business that maybe is approaching bankruptcy or is approaching closing its doors, and you're saving that company, in certain cases, you don't have to create jobs, you just have to maintain the same level of jobs that existed when you came in and invested in that company. Like I said before, there are regional centers. And regional centers must be approved by the United States government. USCIS is the agency that does that. And we can help people develop and apply for regional centers. One of the benefits of a regional center is that you can create both direct jobs and also indirect jobs. So an indirect job would be a job that's not necessarily tied to your commercial enterprise, but that it's related. So for example, if there are jobs, companies that are producing materials or supplies or services for your company and are directly related to your company, that could be an indirect job and count towards the 10-person job creation. So that's, EB5s in a nutshell. Again, they're very complex. These are just some basic points, an outline of points. As a final matter, if your green card is approved, initially you'll be given a 2-year green card, a conditional green card. You would then have to go back at about the 2-year mark and prove that you have sustained your investment, that you have created those 10 jobs or reasonably like to in the near future, and you've met all the other EB5 requirements. So that's another reason why it's important to work with an attorney with these EB5s, because not only do you have to create an application that has, is successful for your initial conditional green card, you have to go back in 2 years and show that you've sustained that. So that's EB5 in a nutshell.